No. Hey, you need to be ready. Have someone. Yeah. You have to. Your place is here. So just let the organization.
Tú estás ahí con
Yeah, they have a winner. So. Yeah, briefly, just briefly, but not. I mean, Miguel, I know him more, and then there's a lady from Cedar Ray that I just met her. How, how do you pronounce Cedar Ray?
Yes.
Cedar Ray.
Theater.
Cedar Ray.
Theater.
Cedar Ray.
I'm just going to go to the box.
So you let us know when you're ready.
We started some news, we just pushing them.
Frankfurt y San Francisco.
Will start in
Sí, vuelos salgo aquí en la noche vía Frankfurt y lo conecto a San Francisco.
Directo a Frankfurt, San Francisco.
Ujú.
Mira que en el avión al lado mío de venida venía una dama y una hija que venían en Emirates a iban a München. This goes to Wisconsin. A dar la vuelta por este lado, que es mucho más largo, por el Westfield.
Ajá.
Tiene como 7 horas de espera en vuelo.
Sí, lo que pasa es que fíjate que ya estando en Miami a lo mejor no es tan mala opción, ¿eh? Porque tienes que volar a San Francisco o a Los Ángeles, son 6 horas. Y luego ya de ahí son 14, 15. Entonces por acá de Miami a Dubái, ¿qué serán?
De Miami a Dubái son como 15.
Ah, bueno, entonces tienen que aventar otras 8 o 10.
Entonces es
No,
mucho
sí,
más
es mucho
largo
más
dar la
largo.
vuelta por acá.
Najo está haciendo la vuelta al mundo, Najo se regresa por el otro lado.
Pues es que de verdad Emirates hace un trabajo impresionante.
Sí.
Claro que estos viajes se hacen. Bueno, Emirates llego a volar cambia de hora.
Sí, hay un vuelo de San Francisco a Dubái. Ujú. Sí, son como 15, 16 horas. De San Francisco vuelas a todos lados directo, menos a Sudamérica.
Sudamérica tienes que ir por Dallas.
Dallas, Houston, Panamá o Miami. Sí, pero Copa está horrible. Entonces, generalmente, en Los Ángeles hay a Bogotá, nada más creo. Pero, no. Bueno, la otra opción es la Ciudad de México, pero la verdad que yo prefiero mil veces, los últimos viajes los he hecho vía Houston o vía Miami.
Austin, ¿qué tal es?
Austin o Houston, Dallas, sí. O si vas para el norte, para Europa, sí, o el Pacífico, si tienes opción vía San Francisco, Denver, Nueva York o Chicago. Son las opciones que te dan.
Yo también en Chicago nunca antes.
Por ejemplo, ahora muy probablemente voy a Madrid ahora con Sergio y me voy por New York. No, me voy por Chicago y me regreso por New York. A Madrid, de Austin a Madrid. Sí, de Austin, New York Madrid y de regreso por Chicago. Pues son las opciones así. Y para ir de Austin al Pacífico es o Denver o Los Ángeles o San Francisco.
Neil, so what is your airport? Marseille, Nice?
Yeah, Marseille.
Corralling people in.
Marseille to your house, what do you do? So you leave your car at the airport in Marseille?
Yeah, because normally I love getting the train, and there is a direct service from Paris actually going to Avignon. There's only 4 trains a day, and if you're slightly delayed, it's missing. They will be there for 4 hours, and then it's a 4-hour train journey. So, and you can't get the train from Avignon to Marseille airport. You can only get it at Windsor to a bus. So it's an hour and a 40 drive. So it's not bad at all. So without the glasses, so it's maybe not so good. So I've got sunglasses. I've got my glasses. I've got sunglasses, so I'll be fine. You're not coming back to France?
Yes. I'm going to be in Nice in a family finding exploration.
What?
My mother's lost relatives. The mother is not alive. My mother passed away in 2009, but the half sisters were 10 years young. Yes.
Have you ever met them?
I met the mother, but the mother, she asked me that when she was alive, she didn't want me to reach out for it.
Okay.
Because she had my mother, I gave her for adoption when she was 15.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
Exactly. So I found her, and so I know I have addresses and names, and I'm just gonna go and knock doors.
So they don't know you're coming?
No,
Do they know that you exist?
no.
Oh my God, we should write the new book.
Are you making a documentary?
We should write
Making a
the
book
new
out of it.
Oh my God.
No, it's my mother's history is amazing.
Yeah, I think you told me something, but I didn't remember.
No, this is a part. This is a chapter that has not been has taken place in real life. So.
When are you going?
Huh?
When are you planning to?
I arrived in Nice around the 14th of July.
Okay. Oh, that's the Bastille Day, the Republic holiday.
Yeah, good to know. I
So
forgot.
you won't be able to get any probably very restricted public transport or nothing. You'll be able to
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start in a few minutes. We're just trying to get people coming. Somebody stole the bell. I want to know who stole the bell. Somebody did it, so we couldn't call them. So we're looking for the bell, but no, seriously, we're just going to bring the people. So just a few minutes, and we will start.
Tonight, yeah, we go through Frankfurt and then from Frankfurt to San Francisco. Before midnight, yeah, and then I connect. I think I have like a 5-hour layover in Frankfurt, and then I end up arriving in San Francisco for 4 p.m. local time. Yeah, tomorrow, which would be what, 2 a.m. Sunday here. Yeah. Well, they're 2 long flights, so I should. No complaints. It's only one stop, so it's not that bad.
Without nobody knowing about it, it's pretty impressive.
Pero usaste un servicio así tipo Ancestry.com o algo así, ¿no? Es impresionante lo que encuentras en Ancestry.
Mi hermana y yo, mi hermana menor sobre todo, ha trabajado, nosotros hemos creado el árbol de las 2 familias, pues la de mi papá y mi mamá, y tenemos 5,000 y pico de miembros en el árbol.
Wow.
Y eso que no
La aristocracia empezó contigo.
Trató de empezar mi papá, en realidad, y nunca pudo.
No, Sergio, tú, Sergio.
Sergio.
Sí, te dije
se
Sergio.
reveló tu
Sí,
gemelo.
Hugo, por favor, ve la aristocracia.
Algo que estoy muy orgulloso y les cuento a ustedes, ¿no?
¿Ah?
¿Verdad? Es que estoy, desde hace como, me encontré en Wikipedia.
Ah, wow.
I was like, oh, sí. A mí me habían llamado, yes, I was very surprised to find myself in Wikipedia.
No, you didn't write your own thing.
Who is it paying for?
I'll have to go and have a look now.
We
You
should.
can't create your own and you cannot really pay for it. Living persons is, because I've been editing Wikipedia posts, things about remittances that they're not right. So I've been going.
You want any points?
See, so one Wikipedia person told me when they upgraded me for editing all the things, she asked, so we have two pruebas, one with poetry and one with remittances. I was looking at your website and it seems that those are your part. Yes, that is me. So, that's interesting. But it was just in email, nothing more. And I think she was the one who created the site.
I didn't know if you went points by adding Wikipedia.
But now they don't allow you now.
But you mean like?
But now you have to be approved. Now you have to be approved to be an editor. Before anyone could edit.
Oh, you have to be approved. How do you get approved?
I don't know, but there's a process now because now it's not open for everyone to.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're about to start. Please take your seats. Thank you.
As you do more things, then they will contact you. So I have made remittances and for different things that I found that this is not right. I go in, edit.
You have to go in and edit using.
Please take your seats. We're about to start the Remtech Awards. Thank you.
Some people are really motivated to do that, aren't they? Not me, really. Maybe it's a retirement thing to do, but
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second, last part of the forum, afternoon session. And we had the public sector recognitions this morning. And now we have our traditional private sector awards. We've been doing this since 2017, indeed. It's nice to lose count. That means it's been a tradition. This is a recognition to innovations that we believe occur in the private sector. Okay, sorry, of innovations that occur in the private sector. It is not run by IFAD. It is from our colleagues, Remtech Awards, Remtech now, and I will give the floor in a second for them to present the context, the recognition concept, and then have the awards to the respective institutions. So without further ado, I don't know if it's you. Okay, I will give you the floor.
Thank you, Pedro. So I'm going to stand up because I get restless sitting down. So as soon as there's no podium, I will do it from here. That's okay. Don't worry. So I'm glad that I'm here. Thank you very much for having me, Pedro. Thank you, Alessandra, and all the IFAD team. You know how much we love you. we have been doing the Remtech Awards since 2017, as Pedro remember, in the GFRID in New York, the United Nations in New York. And Crosstech, former IMTC, it's a group effort. Here's a picture of some of our team members. And these awards were really handled and coordinated by Priscilla, who will present them. So I'm just here a figurehead. So the organization was founded in 2010, so it's about 13 years that we've been doing this. We do events and we do consulting, and we support organizations of any type, helping industry organizations, etc. Through all my career in remittances. I've been 37 years in this industry. I began in a money transfer company in 1987. So all these gray hairs and not gray anymore, they're white. It's the long time that I've been in the industry. So these special awards are coordinated by us, but as Priscilla will explain, we have independent judging panels. We try to be very transparent of the way the companies, the programs are handled, are chosen. Many small and big companies, fintechs, traditional MTOs have participated through the year. It's more than 120 submissions through since the first ones. And let me see. So we evolved from the first one that we did in 2017. We joined IFAD also in Kuala Lumpur in 2018. And then we had COVID, and we're back. So we're happy that 5 years later we're doing our third Remtech Awards with IFAD. Priscilla will then present to you this year's awards. Thank you, Priscilla, for your work.
Thank you, Hugo. Hi, everyone. I know we are in the second session of the day, and we've been here for 3 days. So first, I want to thank you, Pedro, for continuing this partnership, and also Alessandra for all the support for us to be able to be here today. And as Hugo said, he's been in the remittance industry for 35 years, and I've joined him to build a new future. So from remittances, we changed our name from IMTC to Crosstech, which represents not only remittances, but all the cross-border payment solutions. So we are supporting the Remtech Awards through this new vision that we have moving forward. So now let's get to business. So 2023, we said we want to do something different, innovative, but using all the processes we have done in the past. So we started campaigning with IFAD and also with our following in social media, in our newsletter about 5 months ago, so we can get attentions of companies to be able to present their product, their innovation, and also we had one category in compliance. I'll give you the details in a minute. So here I'll give you a little bit of what kind of companies were submitting their application. We had about 30 applications from 15 different countries, from fintech companies, bank companies, technology solutions, software development, and financial services. Here is some of the participants that were there. Not all of them won, but we wanted to give you an idea of who are you competing against. I'm pleased to have our finalists sitting right here in the front row, and we're going to be announcing their prize in a minute. Here are the categories. So we took a few months to come with us, and we wanted to make sure that we rewarded the first award, which is called Remittance Evolution. So as you know, remittances have changed a lot, and we wanted to award a company that has adapted to that evolution. The second one, it was Innovation Remittance Solution, so the company who has demonstrated the most innovation. The third one is Best in Class compliance solution. So I did an interview for Crosstech magazine this year, and one of the things that I said is, for remittance and cross-border, compliance is everything. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we had a category that we awarded that. Fourth one is Partner of the Year. Who are we without our customers? Nobody, right? So we wanted to make sure that we awarded the Partner of the Year. And then the last one is Top Service Provider. Here I highlighted all the countries, so that way you have an idea that it's global. We are here in Nairobi, Africa, but these awards are representing a global scenario in the private sector. The process. So I'm very key on making sure that we are non-biased, that we do this in the most transparent way possible. So we've put together a process that it's very detailed for us to be able to come to the award. So first we had a website where all the companies went through application. All of you know, because you submitted your application through there. From there, you had to highlight what are your competitive advantages on the market and what are you doing different? How should I pick you to be the winner versus everybody else? From there, we had our judges. I'll introduce them in a minute. We were honored to have two of them here in person. But we did have a judge panel that was very different in their backgrounds. So we had from bankers to CEO of remittance software companies, and so I'll give you an award in a minute. Then from there, we had a meeting with all the judges. They had to review a lot of the applications, and from there, we had an automatic scoring system, which based on their rating, we had the top winners. So the judges didn't know what each other want, what did they score. So this was very important for us to make sure that all their ratings were private, all their ratings weren't shared, and then we had a final meeting to show the final winners. So all the judging was done independently, okay? And now, ta-da, I'll show you who our judges are. So number one is Alberto Guerra. He's the CEO of Uniteller. So thank you, Alberto, for being here in person. We also have Leon Isaac, the CEO of DMA and Director of Saver Global. So Lion is also here in person to be able to support us. And as I mentioned, our judge panel is very broad. So we also have Nabil, Eric, Marina, and Rob, which are in different sectors from fintech, from crypto, from compliance, and banks. So we wanted to make sure that we gave you a variety of the judges, okay? Some of them couldn't be here today, but we wanted to show you who they are. Now, let's get to the most important part of the day. I would like to invite Alberto to give the first winner for Remtech Remittance Evolution Award.
Thank you, Priscilla. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce the Remtech Remittance Evolution Award. These awards is to the company that demonstrated the best adaptability to the market, transforming itself to better serve its customers' needs, especially in this time of digitalization and changes and evolution of the industry and the space. So it is my pleasure to announce the winner, MoneyTrans, and I want to invite to the stage Mr. Miguel Fernandez to receive the award. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So now we want you to be here.
For sure.
Now I ask each finalist 10 seconds to give you why you deserve this award.
That's a tall order, I'd say. Well, thank you very much, Hugo, the Crosstech team, judges, Pedro, of course, for this, for your support with our project. And basically, I just have to say that we're trying to tackle all the problems that we've been discussing here: financial inclusion, digitalization, cost reduction in remittances, via an offering that we have through an IBAN account in Europe that allows you to remit money to your country at lower prices, and also includes embedded services like insurances and microfinance. So that's it.
Thank you. Congratulations. We are very proud of you.
Within 10 seconds?
Yes, you did good. Thank you. So now let's go to our second category. So our second category is the Remtech Innovation Remittance Solution Winner Award, and I'd like to invite Leon to give out who is the winner.
Great. Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for that, Priscilla. I do have to say before I do this that I've judged a number of different awards, and I do have to congratulate everybody who applied, because it was by far the best selection of candidates we've ever had, and probably no consolation to those of you who didn't win, but I think in other years you would have won with that application. So the standard's clearly going up, which is great. So I've got the, without my glasses, the Remtech Innovation Remittance Solution winner, and I would say, Abubakar, please come up and get this award. It's Remit One, and I think congratulations to them, because actually they've really, often when we think of innovation, I think we think of something brand new that nobody's ever thought of before. But I think in your case, you've seen a problem, you've looked at lots of different solutions and put them together in a way that really works for the people who use your services or could use your services, which I think is innovative in many ways. So congratulations, and please come up.
Congratulations.
Let's do the photo with all the judges.
Okay.
So I put over there.
We thought about letting you stay off the stage.
No. Thank you very much. I'm really honored to receive this award for Remit One. Why we receive this award is very simple. We only do one thing. We empower our clients. We only provide innovative solutions for the players in the industry, the banks, MTOs, startups, and very soon to central banks. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So our next award is Best in Class Compliance Solution, and I'd like to invite Alberto to give out that award.
So thank you. The best-in-class compliance solution is awarded to the company that best implemented or best develops an effective KYC system with proven results. As we all know in the industry, cross-border payments compliance is key. So winning this award is a very valuable expression of the company's success in demonstrating quality on their processes. So the winner of this award is for the company Theta Ray, and I would like to invite to the stage on behalf of Theta Ray, Grace and Yete to come and pick up the award. Congratulations to Theta Ray.
Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Now, Grace, you know, you're a customer that are using the product. So the actual solution couldn't be here, but they sent a customer to give their testimony of why this is the best compliance solution. So please give us your 10-second speech.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you to the CrossTech team for this award. On behalf of Theta Ray, Peter Reynolds, the CEO, sends his regards, and he's really excited about this. On Theta Ray, we did look at a number of AI monitoring solutions, and Theta Ray came up on top, and they still come up on top because their solution is top-notch, it reduces the false positives, and they honestly do deserve it.
Thank you. Our next winner is Partner of the Year Award, and this is a very special award because it's not only having the best product, but it's about how do you do partnerships well. So it is my honor to welcome to stage the group head of growth, Nika Nagashi from MFS Africa. Thank you for... Congratulations. And one thing that Nika and I talked about when I told you were the winner is that she said she didn't want to celebrate alone. And she wanted to invite her entire team to be next to her while she gave her a 10-second speech.
Thank you so much. None of this would have happened without the dedication and passion of this team, so I thought it's only fair for all of them to be here because this is a shared award, and I'm truly honored for this amazing award. And just maybe for those of you who don't know us, we are the largest payment gateway in Africa, and we provide interoperability at scale. And with a single API integration, our partners get access to 800 plus bilateral corridors within, into, and beyond Africa. And that's not all for us, because we try to go the extra mile with our best-in-class and account management, treasury service, compliance, and customer support. Thank you so much.
So now please don't go anywhere, because we have a surprise. So I'd like to invite Liam to join me here. So this is really non-biased. We didn't know that some winners could win twice. So I'll let Liam introduce our next award.
So, so it's great. God, it's like intimidating, isn't it? So I think they were standing over our shoulders when we were voting. But no, but actually this one is for the top service provider winner. So this is actually for the entity that provides the most comprehensive range and scale of performance in the industry. And I think, I know Rachel, we're going to ask you to deliver this, and I would like to say I've known Rachel for many years, and when MFS was probably less than the number of people that are on here, and now you're what, 650?
Something like that.
So I think, you know, real testament in 12 years, is it? Yeah, 12 years to have grown to what you're actually offering now, and a very deserved prize. So please take it away.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for this, the award, for the recognition. Thank you to this team that made it possible. It's always amazing to be here in Kenya. And I think one of the things that is complex about this continent and this industry, as so many panelists have mentioned during this week, is this fragmentation, right? Fragmentation of markets, of providers, of currencies. And it's just as much work for a money transfer company to integrate to AfriCell in Gambia as it is MTN in Zambia or Safaricom and M-Pesa here in Kenya. And so forced by pressures of resources and time, they're going to go for the 50 million customers here in Kenya. And where we come in is to make it as easy to reach customers and end users and any kind of channel of cash delivery, mobile money, bank, meeting the customers where they are, over 38 African countries and growing, 800 bilateral corridors, as Nika mentioned, and to make it easy to let customers receive and send the ways that they would like. So thank you again, and congratulations to the team.
So now let's take a photo with all of us to show the double award from MFS Africa. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so now the awards are over. So these are the 5 categories that we were able to do with our judges. And Ugo and I, we always like to start looking for things that are unique in different markets. And we decided to create 2 new categories that we wanted to highlight today. So the first one is, clickers. Okay, my clicker's not here, but I know it by heart. So the first one is a special mention to a very amazing company who is here today, and I would like to invite you on stage, James from Ida Financial Services. And this project is so unique because it was led by refugees. So come on up, James. So when I first heard about your project, I said, how can I find something locally that are really delivering value to the community? And then I read your proposal, I read your application, and it really touched my heart with your commitment. So I would like you to give like a 10-second speech, as we are running out of time, into why your project is so unique and how has it made a difference in the refugee community.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Without forgetting any person who really contributed to my success, I would like to send my regards to the Bank of Uganda. I am a refugee in Uganda. I stay in the same community that gets issues to access money. I myself came up with an initiative to make sure people can access money. During lockdown, people could not cross the border. In our district, we don't have any bank. So this was the only bank that actually was serving people when Ebola came to Uganda. For those who knows, the most serving town, which is called Mubende, was under lockdown, and no one was allowed to cross there. So this was the only bank which was serving people there in the village. Therefore, I really thank everyone, and this award is an evidence that you can really trust a refugee. Some refugees are not honest, but you can still trust, yes, you can still trust a refugee and can deliver the quality work. Thank you very much. And I hope even the Central Bank of Kenya will allow us actually to expand to other refugee communities in Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's take a photo so we can post on your social media and make you known. Thank you, James. Now we have our last special mention, and this is something that we wanted to highlight. Ugo?
So this mention is for Etexa. It's a communications company in Cuba who has developed a domestic payment system integrating mobile wallets, cards, etc., in a country which has many issues in trying to get software from outside or help from outside, etc. So they developed this system which will make easier for remittances to be paid into the country. The person in charge of Etexa sent us a video because he was not able to come, but he wanted to just say hello to you. We decided not to present it because of time and also because it was in Spanish and we just didn't want it to translate it or put subtitles. But congratulations to Etexa. They will probably see this video, and so I ask from all of you a good round of applause for Etexa.
And his name is Julio Garcia. I just wanted to make sure that we name him.
So Mr. Julio Garcia, congratulations, felicitaciones por haber llegado hasta y tener este premio de parte de toda la comunidad mundial. Los felicitamos.
Thank you, Hugo. So now we got to the end. We wanted to thank you again, Pedro and Alessandra, for the opportunity. This has been months of work for us. Oh, this is Julio. So let me stop here. So he's sitting in his living room in Cuba, sending you guys thank you. And when we learned about this project through the application process, they do a product, it's called Transfer Mobile. And through that, Cubans are able to pay electronically. And sometimes it's mentioned as the PIX of Cuba. So you're able to do everything digital. And for a community like that, it's very important. So here is Julio Garcia, and thank you guys for congratulating him. So now we are getting to the end. Like I mentioned before, this has been months of work promoting, reviewing all the submissions. Thank you for our judges for putting work on this for us to be able to come up with a finalist. And I think that's it. Any other final words?
Thank you very much to all of you. We hope to keep on doing this, bringing relevant companies and products and ideas into the remittance market. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. Always extremely interesting to see the innovations. Arifat, we don't know. We just learn with you about the winners, and we really hope that as we go in the years to come to continue this collaboration. As we said today, is an involvement between the public, the private, and the civil society. The public, private sector, and the civil society. So thank you again. As you saw, we're getting closer. Just one second. We are getting to the end of this forum, and as it was mentioned at the beginning, we're going to try to take a step back and think about what we heard, what we learned over the last 3 days. And you might have not seen them, but we had rapporteurs, a team working in extracting the essence of everything that was said. We're going to do a lot of work in the next month and weeks to get all the details. Everything was recorded, so we're going to get very granular on that. But before we leave, we wanted to give you an idea of the major aspects that we learn, both in remittances and in diaspora investment. And this is what we propose to have now, is to have two of our rapporteurs provide you with the key findings and concepts that we identified during these 3 days. So for the remittance track, I'm going to call Frédéric Ponceau, specialist on both actually remittances and diaspora investment of the Financing Facility for Remittances GFRID, to come forward, please, and brief you on the main aspects. Just to let you know one more thing is that this will be shared. We would like is to have all of you, this audience, to also contribute to the findings. Not only they're going to be into recommendations, but the website of the GFRID that has all the panels, all the videos will be included, will also include a lot of the details and documentation that was referenced during these 3 days. So maybe I will give you the floor.
Thank you, Pedro. It will be a challenge to summarize the recommendation and highlights of this great GFRID. The different insights and recommendations that we derive from this GFRID will be divided in the two tracks that we have followed, one on remittances and one on investment. So I will start with the main insights and a recommendation we have identified for the remittance track. And I apologize in advance, we had to be selective, I had to be selective, so it's a selection, it's not exhaustive. This is the main issue, the main insights, and the core recommendation we would like to convey to the UN General Assembly on SDG in September. So this is our role to bring together this recommendation, your input to the UN Assembly, very briefly, and we will provide an extensive report that will cover in details the different discussions that we had. So we have clustered 8 points. The first one is to say that it took us 7 years to recognize the migrant contribution to sustainable development goals beyond just the cost reduction. In the next year, we propose to go beyond that. This is again an invitation to keep us inventing enabling policies, services, partnership, more options to be offered to maximize migrant contribution for 1 billion people on Earth. Our second cluster of insights and recommendation is that one key component of the industry is data. So market intelligence, information to make decisions, transparency. Data is cross-cutting all over the places and for all stakeholders. As such, it can act as a non-ramp to 2030 achievement. the main area we have identified is reporting data from supervision platform is critical in monitoring both inflows and outflows, mobile money uptake, financial access. Currently, 6 countries in Africa are publishing data on a regular basis. Data, it is commonly admitted that publishing data enhances business decision making by RSPs, and there is a strong need for data repositories that combine data across markets on a single platform to enable easy access, but also to make connection between the different development dimensions of remittances. Our recommendation is that all stakeholders can continue to collect and make available publicly all data relevant on remittances. All stakeholders can work together to provide data at a more granular level to understand customer needs. This granular data should include detail on flows and costs per corridor, channels, customer preferences, but also disaggregated by gender, by rural and urban areas. Informal flows must be quantified as much as possible, and we need to understand better the use of remittances. This entails demand-side surveys and industry studies beyond data collected by central banks. In this regard, both sending and receiving countries can collect and publish granular remittance data. The example of Italy as a sending end, Uganda and Kenya in this regard are commendable. Also, the Remitscope platform is conceived as a collaborative platform and already includes disaggregated data by corridor provided by 6 central banks. Our third insights and recommendation is about remittances and AML-CFT regulation and the so-called phenomenon of bank de-risking. The perception of risk attached to remittances is overweighted, leading to unintended consequences on financial inclusion for remittance users. The question has been asked if we should rethink our terms. Should we talk about debanking or de-risking, since the bank are exiting, let's say, the remittance activities? Are family remittances really threatening financial integrity? This is also a question that has been raised. It has been recognized that there is a need for evidence-based risk assessment, leading to proportionate policy responses to risk. Overall, compliance in the financial sector should be done sustainably, paying attention to financial inclusion outcomes as outlined in the FATF guidelines. Main recommendation, capacity building for regulators on how to effectively apply risk-based supervision and foster innovation while mitigating new risks. About market structure and cost competition, which is a key topic that have been addressed during the forum, we have selected a few facts. The costs remain high on average in Africa. Intra-Africa remittances are still expensive and sometimes more expensive than intercontinental remittances. In any case, both continental and intercontinental remittances are far above the SDG 10C target of 3%. In many markets, the remittance value chain is highly fragmented, driving up cost, and this is a major source of market deficiency. Most regulations have abolished exclusive relationship among operators, opening the market to more players, which is a very good news. Still, the licensing environment is still challenging for most operators, characterized by lengthy processing times, lack of harmonized regulation, lack of guidance for operator. It takes time, and it is unclear for operators that want to enter the market how and how long it will take to get a license. Our recommendation is to promote broader market interoperable instant payment system to foster competition, but also customer choice and outreach. Streamline licensing requirement for market operators is also necessary to accelerate and clarify the condition for new operator to enter the market. Another point is related to financial inclusion. Enhancing digital access and bundling digital financial services with remittances is essential to increase financial inclusion through remittances. COVID has been a game changer, and now hybrid and cash methods are the new normal. Mobile money in Africa has shown how digitalization can lead to financial inclusion. In turn, financial inclusion enhances remittance recipient resilience and facilitates asset building. The bundling of financial services linked to remittances is essential. We heard about examples of savings, credit, insurance products. And last, bringing remittance family into the formal sector removes them from the risky and low-value customer segment. Our recommendation is to foster innovative digital financial services and also financial education, which is the next item we have underscored. For the first time, financial education has been brought under the spotlight as a major enabler. This is a very important topic that has been discussed during this forum. This is particularly important with the increase of digital methods. Digital financial literacy becomes a must for market players and also open opportunities to broaden the reach of financial literacy campaigns. Overall, lack of financial education continue to be a bottleneck to digital and financial inclusion. So we recommend that financial and digital education must be scaled up, but also we propose and we recommend that private initiative in that regard to be supplemented with national financial literacy campaign focusing on remittances. Consumer protection and transparency, which is not directly related to financial education, but is very important from a customer perspective, is also essential, and there's a need to disclose foreign exchange, effective foreign exchange, so that the customer can make a real choice for the most efficient remittance service, given that foreign exchange is still a major component of the cost. Regarding climate adaptation, remittance contribution to climate adaptation and climate finance has been largely ignored because of lack of reliable data and studies that show this link. However, we know that remittances play an important role to mitigate climate risk, and especially for small producers. The role of remittances in this regard is also underestimated due to the broader misconception that remittances are mostly used for consumption purposes. The GFRID engaged on the possibility of new options and incentives that will enable remittance family to more effectively build resilience against climate-related risk and economic social fragility. Poor community, and especially small producers in rural areas, remain exposed to climate shocks, with many of them being only one shock away from falling into poverty. Our recommendation in this regard, as remittances are already financing climate adaptation needs, and the demand for climate adaptation and mitigation finance is on the rise, let's give remittances the recognition they deserve on building resilience in communities. So let's commit more funds to this. Let's recognize the role of remittances as a climate adaptation tool. Let's provide smallholders and other farmers with the know-how and access to solutions that can empower them to better anticipate, measure, and ultimately adapt to a range of climate risks. This involves the offer of services and products that rural producers will need to navigate the local risk of global climate change. Finally, an overall topic and a recommendation, it's about partnerships. Partnerships are essential to achieve SDGs. Multi-stakeholder platforms are essential to foster dialogue, as shown by the National Remittance Stakeholder Network set up by IFAD and other platforms, and also to spread knowledge. And beyond this platform for dialogue and spreading the knowledge, we need also more public and private partnerships to push the frontiers of financial access through remittances. In this area, we reiterate our recommendation, convening the public and private sectors and the civil society, including the diaspora community, of course, beginning from the local level up to national and international levels, to coordinate and implement strategies, policies, and action, and evaluate implementation efforts on a regular basis. Would like to remind, to quote Louis' words about the future of, and to engage the community of the GFRID. You cannot go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Thank you very much for your attention. I pass the floor to my colleague Mauro.
Thank you very much, and I'm here to report on the diaspora investment track. I'm going to report on the main highlights and takeaways. So during these 3 days, and I'm not going to be exhaustive, so this list, as also Fred said, is not meant to be exhaustive. We will take the time to fine-tune it during the next few weeks. So during these 3 days, over 40 experts, diaspora leaders, members, and practitioners had the chance to meet and discuss. In 10 sessions, I will also say over coffees and lunches, they had the chance to discuss about the global growing phenomenon of diaspora investments, trends, recent studies, diaspora needs and ambitions, multiple typologies of financial mechanisms, and their lessons learned have been presented, animatedly debated, with the aim to comprehend the state of the art, particularly for the African continent. And what needs to be done next to fully maximize its potential for inclusive, sustainable development. The inspiring discussions over these 3 days found clear common ground of understanding that for ease of clarity have been grouped in 7 main highlights with their respective takeaways. The first one is on misconceptions. Remittances and diaspora investment are different in scope and needs and require unique and adapted approaches to fully maximize their respective developmental potential. We know what the remittances are, private cross-border person-to-person payments of relatively low value that are sent regularly by migrants to their relatives in their home countries. Diaspora investments respond to a personal goal set by the migrant to finance a business opportunity in their own country of origin. They can be either individual or collective and vary in terms of size, scope, duration, and regularity. The second one is know your diaspora investor. This is essential to move from simple transactional acts to real transformational impact. Diasporas are not an homogeneous group of people, and there is no one common diaspora investor. As every normal investor, each one has a different origin, story, level of financial education, investment means, and purposes. At the same time, diaspora investors share the common willingness to have an impact in the economic and social development of the communities and countries where their investment is to be made. Reliable surveys and thorough analysis of the targeted diaspora are therefore compulsory initial step for the creation of any secure, reliable, sound and effective financial vehicle which intends to adequately respond to the different needs of the various diaspora segments. Number 3, diaspora investments
corresponding to different diaspora investor profiles and motives are emerging, but more needs to be done to improve reliability and impact. In response to the different investor profiles and risk appetites, some models have emerged over time, including structured bonds and related financial products, investment-based crowdfunding platforms, peer-to-peer mechanisms, and impact investment funds. In other cases, migrants intend also to invest in their own business and become an entrepreneur. More dedicated approaches and customized instruments to pool individuals' resources into secure vehicles and more transparent and updated information about investment opportunities and risks associated need to be provided in order to build trust among the diaspora and to take full advantage of their developmental potential. 4, realistic data on diaspora investments are still very limited, but are crucial for the design of enabling policies and the creation of financial vehicles adapted to the need of the migrant investors. While data on remittance flows and costs have significantly improved over the last 2 decades, although further efforts are still needed, on diaspora investment we are still far from having reliable aggregated data. No global surveys are currently in place to calculate the aggregated investment made by migrants on an annual basis. Therefore, more realistic data on the amount invested by migrants on a regular basis and disaggregated by country and thematic areas is crucial for a better understanding of the growing global phenomenon and subsequently to create the optimal conditions to fully maximize its potential for development. Number 5, enabling environments and harmonized regulatory frameworks are essential for reliable investment models that respond to the needs of the diaspora investors. Diaspora investments are growing exponentially. At the same time, new innovative investment models and vehicles are increasingly being designed and set up to respond to the different needs of the diaspora investors. However, these products often sit between 2 regulatory frameworks, one in the country of origin, another one in the country of destination. This creates complexity, expense, and other limiting factors that usually affect the efficiency of these products. It is critical that a multi-stakeholder dialogue is put in place to address issues such as KYC, AML, access to bank accounts, cross-border investments, and other forms of pooling investments from individuals and collective groups. This dialogue must include regulatory authorities alongside development agencies and diaspora organizations. 6, the potential of diaspora investment for climate adaptation is enormous, but still underexploited. Much more needs to be done to make it truly impactful. Diaspora investments offer a promising avenue for rural communities to build climate resilience and break the cycle of climate-induced forced migration. Migrants' investment can be, and in some cases are already, used by rural entrepreneurs to promote climate adaptation solutions, thereby improving food and economic security, fostering the adoption of the smart agriculture, irrigation, and land restoration practices. Despite all of these, very little analysis and research on this correlation has been undertaken so far. The attention is focused on migration as a response to environment and climate change, while it only marginally analyzes the relevance of the diaspora investments and remittances for the creation of climate adaptation solutions. At the same time, diaspora investors are not always adequately informed about the opportunities to invest in climate adaptation and resilience activities. Increased awareness about the importance to invest in climate adaptation strategies, matched with the creation of climate-oriented investment mechanisms, adequate climate financial education for diaspora investors and rural entrepreneurs can exponentially expand the amount of diaspora investments in impactful climate resilience activities and subsequently increase the capacity of rural entrepreneurs to adapt to climate change. Last but not least, number 7, it is time to move from pilot to scaled-up interventions. Over the recent years, the demand by the diaspora for adequate investment mechanisms has grown exponentially in line with the new generation's impact and sustainability expectations. In response to the different investor profiles and risk appetites, some models have emerged. under the form of pilot projects and initiatives with different degrees of success, which have created a quantity of lessons learned. It is now time to move from pilot to scale and involve all actors and stakeholders, the public and the private sector, the civil society, and the diaspora organizations in taking full advantage of the lessons learned gathered so far. Successful solutions need to be replicated, expanded, and adapted to different contexts. 2030 is just around the corner. Let's follow these seven recommendations and take full advantage of diaspora investment for sustainable development. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we're going to be closing the forum. So for that, I would like to invite the hosts, the organizers, the World Bank, IFAD, and OSA to the podium. So Dilip, if you wouldn't mind, Christina, if you wouldn't mind, and Donald for this closing session.
Well, thank you. It is really a pleasure to see over the last 22 years how the agenda has evolved, and now here we are, and it is so nice to see so many of us, so many hundreds of us here in Africa, with Africa in all its glory in this agenda. And I just want to say thank you to Pedro for taking the lead, to IFAD, and to the donors who helped us with this, with organizing the forum, and to all of you who made the effort to come all the way to Nairobi to participate in this event. And I also want to leave a couple of messages just to remind ourselves why we are here. I know you have it now, but I want you to keep that in your pocket, in your brain cells for a while to come. 656 billion is what we are expecting for remittances to be this year. That is only the flows to low and middle income countries. And in, let's say France, I have to say it, there are more remittances going in than they go out. And if you put France in the list of top 10 countries, it does show up in the 5th place. Okay, we need to remember that. So remittances are important everywhere. And there is a lot of flow going within Africa. 70% of the migrants from Africa are within Africa, 70%. So remittances are huge. South-South is important. Foreign direct investment is under $600 billion. Total official aid is $223 billion. If you exclude China, remittances are larger than foreign direct investment and ODA combined, and they have been like that since 2015. I think this is important to remember, which means that remittances are no longer small change, and these kind of forums where we get together to think about different players, to think about the plumbing, the architecture, and how to make most of these flows. These are no longer small trickles. We are talking about rivers and now lakes and seas probably. And we need to harness that. So that is one message. And in that process, I know you have heard from our rapporteurs about lots of specific details. I see global remittances agenda, you can add diaspora to that, as 4 parts. So I did it like this once, 1, 2, 3, 4, and somebody said, are you a Catholic? And no. But maybe I am. I'm not, but I am. Number 1 in the global remittances is data, just to get to know the facts. If we don't know the facts, we are in the dark. And the facts are looming large at us. Number 2, payment system issues. That takes us to fintech. The future is amazing, the cryptos and everything in the world. And then the geopolitics of it all, which I hinted at. Multipolarity, interoperability that will not be there for years to come. The third is financial inclusion, leverage remittances for financial inclusion for poor people, for poor countries. And then the fourth is something that is really exciting. Leverage these small trickles of money, aggregate them, and then you can do billion-dollar bond issuances. Brazil raised $4 billion 20 years ago when it was really facing crisis by securitizing, using remittances from Japan going to Brazil as collateral. And on those bonds, the interest cost saving was 700 basis points on average, 7 percentage points on average. You do the calculation. $4 billion, you save $7 billion per year, and it's a 5-year bond at least, more likely 7-year bond. You do the calculation. That is one. The second is diaspora bond. We talked about that. $500 billion annual savings in remittances, in diaspora savings. If you mobilize 1/10 of that, that's $50 billion. Entire aid to sub-Saharan Africa, entire aid to sub-Saharan Africa is $35 billion. The entire aid budget to the largest donor country in the world, the United States, is $35 billion as well. So you can see the potential for diaspora bonds as a financing for development, means of financing development. And then the final part, if you include remittances in the creditworthiness analysis of countries like Lebanon or Bangladesh or Nepal, and there are 50 other countries, the credit rating of the countries goes up, improves by 4 notches. A 4-notch improvement in credit rating means somewhere around 300 basis points in borrowing costs. This is the part that we didn't discuss in details, and that is the financing for development that I really think we should be keeping in mind as well. So with that, thanks a lot to everyone, and let me stop. I'm so pleased to see this and to have this collaboration going. Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you, Dilip, for this. I love that you cannot stick there. You have to put and inform us and teach us even more. So I love it. Thank you. No, great to have you here. And I would like now to give the floor now to Cristina, our friend, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Pedro. I'll be very brief. First, I would like to, in a very humble way, to thank you all for what you taught me in these 3 days. Thank you very much. Yesterday, I learned so much in these 3 days. You cannot imagine. Yesterday I told Dawn, if by myself I had decided to get this knowledge only by myself, it would take me not 3 days, but 3 years. So you just compacted beautiful, in a beautiful city of Nairobi. Thank you very much. Second, I was asking myself yesterday, today, not so much in the first day, how important is the information that has been provided in these meetings, in these 3 days? How important is this information to reach policymakers? It's crucial. Because policymaking by default, believe me, I'm not accusing no one. Policymaking by default, when you start, you manage to have your feet in the ground. As the time goes, you start flying and going to the clouds. You need, on a regular basis, to have this type of conversation, to listen who delivers, who bakes the cake at the end of the day. So when designing policy frameworks, they are linked to the reality. So my question is, how can we at a country level, at a national level, promote this structure, well-designed and permanent dialogue channels? Because it cannot be once a year on the international Day of Family Remittances. How to create this, and I do believe that the stakeholders that are baking the cake are the ones to push, to pressure, to demand, to require for space to have this conversation. Because if you wait for the policymakers, it will take another 10 years. Third, it was clear after my 3-day learning process, it was clear that since Africa did not implement the MDGs, we start implementing the SDGs on a situation of disadvantage, clearly, a huge disadvantage. I would say that some countries maybe start the SDGs, I wouldn't say in a Ferrari, but better. Africa maybe in a Toyota Starlet without some tires. We have not built the resilience out of the MDGs. We started the SDGs. Then we were hit by 3 external shocks, you name it. Now we reach the midterm. We have not delivered. We start getting anxious. And everybody, I'm sure you notice, everybody is talking about accelerating SDGs. For Africa to accelerate SDGs, sorry, we need to build resilience. If we do not build resilience, we don't build that takeoff that is needed to accelerate the SDGs. In the process of building resilience, I just like to quote what my dear now friend from World Bank said a couple of minutes ago. The remittance can play a huge role in helping Africa delivering financial inclusion and consequently delivering resilience to be ready before 2030 to start delivering better the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina. And now, for the final word, Donald, I'll invite you to the podium.
Thank you very much, Pedro, and thank you, Leap and Christina, for those words. Just before I move into my closing remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would just allow me a moment to mention, which I think is very apt given the conversations we had over the last 3 days, just mention the tragedy that occurred off the coast of Greece yesterday, which I'm sure you've all seen in the news. It was, as we sat here discussing remittances, investments, diaspora, migration over the last 3 days, the reports that are coming out of over 800 migrants, either dead or missing, I think 100 rescued so far was what I saw. It does remind us all of the not only very significant loss of life, but that there are sometimes some very tragic aspects around the conversations on flows on remittances and investments, where people keep leaving their countries in search of a better future for them and their family, but sometimes it ends in a very tragic consequence for the individuals and their families. So I would, if you will allow me, I'd just like to invite you to have a moment of silence as a mark of respect for the victims yesterday, but also, as I say, at this point in time, as we end 3 days, to remember sometimes the very dark side of some of our conversations. So if we could just have a moment's silence, please. Thank you very much. Please be seated. So, as I move to my closing remarks, just on a personal note, I've always been very interested in the issues that were discussed over the last 3 days. Having spent 35 years in development, I think you cannot do development without being interested in them. But I think the last 3 days, for me, have actually taken it to another level. I would say now that rather than just being very interested in it, I'm actually quite passionate about it. So thank you very much also, as Christina says, for really educating me. I think what I took away particularly was a real feeling that there are real exciting things happening out there, and we really need to sort of double down on them and really make sure that these really exciting things happen across the globe, particularly in Africa, and that we really see change and results, you know, as an outcome of this. But I am reassured. I do think, listening to the conversations, this has been much more these 3 days than a sort of a talk shop, which we go to so often. There's real exciting energy and progress being made. And I just would also like to reflect, we've spent a lot of time talking about remittances and investment, but actually this is not about remittances and investment, this is about people. And we need to remember this is about people, not money. Money's the input, improving livelihoods is the outcome. So this whole meeting is about people, not remittances and not investment. You may have thought you were here for 3 days for that, but it's about people. And you'd also be glad, given you've had such a comprehensive set of reporting, that I've cut 2/3 of my closing remarks. So ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, we come to the end of the 3-day Global Forum on Remittances, Investment and Development. It's been a fantastic event, and I'm sure you'll all agree that with me. And I would like to start by thanking all the panelists, the moderators, but all you conference participants for your enthusiasm, dedication, and really lively contributions. So thank you very much. I would also like to thank our co-organizers, the Office of the UN Secretary General Special Advisor for Africa, Ms. Cristina Duarte and her team. I've kind of decided as well that I think we should be a double act from now on, Cristina. We should just go around the world doing meetings together. And also to our colleagues from the World Bank, the Government of Kenya, for its warm hospitality, and also our partners in this event, the African Diaspora Network, Crosstech, GSMA, IAMTN, Senfree, FinDev Gateway, and WSBI. But last but not least, I'd like to have a big thank you to our donors who've made this possible, the European Union, the governments of Luxembourg, Germany, Spain, and Sweden. So over the last 3 days, we've engaged in a really in-depth dialogue about the importance of remittances and investments for hundreds of millions of families in Africa and across the globe. And we've discussed in depth how migrants' economic contribution through remittances and diaspora investments play a crucial role in the economic growth and the improvement of living standards in the countries of origin. We've had 30 sessions, and we've investigated trends, discovered innovative remittance channels and investment funds, and addressed challenges in the remittance and investment markets. We've hopefully cleared many misconceptions, entered the digital space, looked at regulatory frameworks, and set up new connections and synergies between complementary actors from the public and private sectors and civil society. We've thoroughly explored a global market of migrants and diasporas, contributions that altogether is valued at over $1 trillion per year. But more than this, we've highlighted the human aspect of it all. Allow me to reiterate the figures. Over 1 billion people are either sending or receiving remittances and are investing back home, helping not only in the economic growth of many low and middle income countries and helping them achieve the sustainable development goals, but making really material improvements in the livelihoods of individual families. So the findings of this summit, of which we've heard just now, represent an important input that we will present to all member states at the upcoming summit on the SDGs. From what we have heard in these 3 days, achieving the SDGs is still within reach. This is the main development challenge from now until 2030. One of the pathways is to ensure that substantial multiplier effect will apply to the projected 7 trillion in aggregate migrants, remittances and investments to be received by their families, communities and MSMEs in developing countries over the next 7 years. This summit provided us with unique examples, lessons learned and recommendations on how to do it. The challenges have been highlighted: improved remittance policies, new technologies and cost-effective remittance systems, harmonised regulations for international remittances and diaspora investments, bundled with innovative financial instruments adapted to the reality and the diaspora needs. If rightly applied, they all have the power to make a substantial change to the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And I very much look forward to the implementation of the recommendations resulting from the forum and to the many benefits that concrete actions by all stakeholders will bring to migrants and their families and communities in the countries of origin. The Global Forum for Investment and Development and Remittances doesn't end here. It's an ongoing process which continues with discussions online through the dedicated webinar, culminating in a summit on a regular basis. Its next station will be the upcoming SDGs Summit on the 18th and 19th of September in New York, where we will present the recommendations of the forum to the UN General Assembly, with the aim to make the voice of migrants and their families be heard loud and clear. So let us take every opportunity to support the positive and immense influence of migrants' contributions to economic development, and let's come together as a global community, renew our commitments to the SDGs and work effectively towards a sustainable and prosperous future for all. So just before closing, I would like to finish by thanking Pedro and his team, together with other colleagues in the IFAD office here and other colleagues in other organizations in Nairobi, because I think there's really a very big team over many months who have put this together to make it such a success. And I would like to recognize all their hard work too. So if we could just give them a round of applause, please. So with that, I would like to thank you again for your participation and wish you all a safe return home. Thank you.